a good overview of retail versus brand, and I think it's an interesting debate which most companies go through, especially growing companies, companies that are growing fast. At some point or the other, they stop to think, are we in retail or are we a brand? Should we focus on retail? Should we focus on the brand? And I don't think there is any one right answer to that. But I think the reality is, as Rajesh rightly pointed out, both coexist. One is required for the other. And most companies would make sure that each of these streams get enough of importance so that they succeed as a company. If I were to draw down on Marks and Spencer and our own experience, and especially our experience in India, we came in to the country in early 2000s and came in as a franchisee, through the franchisee route. And the way we had got positioned at that time was almost totally against, or definitely not in sync with the DNA of the brand globally. We had got, we are a middle-class retailer world over. However, in India, we had got positioned as a premium retailer. Now, partly because, as again Rajesh mentioned, there were very few people buying from the organized sector. There were very few people buying brands, etc. But then, quickly, the DNA of the brand catches up with it, and we realized we could not have continued with that route. And clearly, since 2008, once we formed our own joint venture in the country and repositioned ourselves, or we are always told that we were repositioned in India. Actually, I say we right-positioned ourselves into what the DNA for the brand stood for. Marks and Spencer as a brand has always stood for quality, value, innovation, service, and trust. Those are the 5 pillars on which the business has been built. And those 5 pillars make up the brand, and that's what the brand stands for. And that's what we have over the last 5 years strengthened in the country. And once you do that, retail grows on its own. Now you have to make sure the experience of the brand across all parameters is consistent. The product, the service, the value offered, all of it needs to be consistent, scalable, and at the same time exactly the same from every single service point, every single door that you have. And the amount of effort that has to go in to make that happen is what will make or break the brand. Environment is unmeasurable there. It's immeasurable, but it's an equally important part of what makes the brand. It's the look, the feel of the brand, which the customer experiences, which forms a lasting impression. And paying enough attention to that is equally important. Innovation. Again, we stand for innovation as a brand. And making sure that's consistent is something that goes a far way in making sure that the experience that the customer gets of the brand is exactly what they would have expected. I could go on and on in terms of the number of examples we have on this. But suffice to say that making sure your brand is consistent with what the DNA of the brand is, and making sure it is exactly what you position yourself as, is what will make the brand successful in this country and in any country.